What's happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy, the Chevy Nerd. We're going to talk today about a couple key differences between Premiere, LT, and LTZ71 on the Chevrolet Tahoe. This also pertains to Chevrolet Suburban, so pay attention today, and here you'll find out what the differences are between the trim levels and also the packaging. Stay tuned for this episode of the Chevy Nerd. Alright guys, we're back and we have here a row of Chevrolet Tahoe. Now the cool thing about this is that we're going to be talking about the differences between the Premiere model and also the Z71 and the LT model. We'll cover a couple of those differences there. Most of them are going to be visual from the exterior, as well as a couple differences in suspension. So we're going to take a look at those and kind of go from there. Now, a couple things that you're going to notice, right next to each other we have two Premiere models. The one we took a look at on the last video is on the left hand side. Then we have another Premiere model, and right next to it we have a Z71 model. Now, a couple of the differences that you're going to see, you'll see them right up front, and I'm going to go ahead and kneel down here. Now, what you're going to see is on the right hand side with the Z71, you're going to have a lot higher ground clearance. So that is actually one of the key differences between both vehicles. So if you take a look at that bottom portion there and right down there, you're going to see that key difference automatically. Now that ground clearance is going to be a lot higher because the Z71, its purpose is for a lot of families who do go out and camp and go up to the mountains and stuff like that, that take their vehicle a little bit more into the off-roading adventure there. So with Z71, a couple of the differences are exactly that. As well with the Z71 package, you tend to have a smaller rim in comparison. On something like this, we're going to have our 18-inch wheel there, and as you're going to see, you're going to have a little bit more of that rugged tread there for situations such as off-roading. Now, a cool thing that's exclusive of the Z71 option is also this particular wheel. This wheel here is exclusive. You're going to see more of that tungsten metallic look to the wheel instead of just a standard kind of like silver, almost chrome-like aluminum look to it. So that's exclusive to Z71, as well as within Z71 you have a little bit more of that sportier, I would say, or more of that kind of off-roadish running board there. So it does have a little bit of an aesthetic look to it when it comes to that off-roading look. Now, other differences, there's really not much. Typically when it comes to the Chevrolet Tahoe and Z71, those are a couple of the only differences between the visual look of the vehicles. Now, there is some performance differences when it comes to the Z71. So let's take a look at that. We'll see some of that inside. So what you're going to have on Z71, very similar to the Z71 trucks, is you're going to have right on here, right over to this area here, you're going to have an additional option here called hill descent. Now, hill descent is an awesome option to go ahead and kind of help your vehicle crawl down a very steep hill. So let's say that you guys go off-roading and you're coming down a super steep hill. What it helps you do is it helps you crawl down and basically keep you at 25 to 30 miles per hour without the vehicle gaining that speed and momentum. So it kind of helps you slowly kind of crawl down that hill. Really cool feature. So that's available only on the Z71 package. Interior is very similar. This one's going to have the appointed leather stitching, things like that. Typically on this one here, we're either going to have the black, the dark gray, or the cocoa dune interior. You're also going to have additional safety features too, such as front forward collision, very similar to Premiere, and a very similar layout when it comes to the infotainment system. Now, what makes Z71 special as well? Well, I did mention that there is a difference in suspension. So over here, very similar to the Silverados, you're going to have the Z71 shocks. So this one here will absorb a little bit more shock when it comes to that. Hey, what's happening, G? What are you doing? Did you lose something?
Yeah. Oh, there it is.
Well, at least you found it. Anyhow, when it comes to this guy here, both these models here are going to have the Z71 package, and those shocks are definitely going to absorb a little bit more when it comes to any form of off-road activity. Now, that's the other key component difference between the one on the left-hand side there, which is the Premire. That one's going to have the magnetic ride suspension on there. So that is a major difference. So the suspension here is supposed to give you a luxury drive, that nice classy air ride suspension. Over here, you're going to have a little bit of a stiffer suspension, but definitely designed for a little bit more of the family that's outdoors, ready to go camping, ready to take this off-road. Now, going into other models, typically here up in the mountains, we typically just have the Z71 packaging. You'll see them right over here. You'll also see some badging differences too. So the badging differences that you'll see, especially right here on this one here, is you're going to have Z71 logo throughout the vehicle itself. Kind of gives it that nice, you know, sporty look to it as well. You'll see them labeled out through there, and you'll also see them specifically on the cluster panel on your speedometer and RPMs. You're going to have a specific Z71. Now, right over here, we're going to take a look at the LT trim. Now, this one's a Suburban, but everything's pretty much similar to the Tahoe and Suburban except for that additional length and wheelbase. But this is a standard LT model. The LT model is going to have the exact same ground clearance that we had on our Premiere model. But you're obviously going to see a huge difference when it comes to the grille right there. So the grille has a different presentation. It's not as luxurious or aggressive. It's a little bit more just laid back. And these are the wheels that you get with the LT model. So you'll notice these ones have a little bit of a different look. Let me head over here, a little bit better lighting. This one has a little bit of a different look than the Z71 package. So this is a direct comparison from Z71. This one in front of us being the LT model, and then right around here, this one right over here being the Z71 package. So you can see a difference right there. Those are a couple of my friends over there kind of slacking off. I'm just kidding, they're hard at work. Yeah, right. Well, anyhow, this is your boy, the Chevy Nerd, here showing you different products and different options when it comes to the Chevrolet Tahoe and Suburban. If you guys have any questions, leave a question in the comments below. I'll answer it there as fast as I can, as well as leave a like, share, subscribe. You guys know what to do. Come visit me here at Ed Bozart Chevrolet. There's one of my other co-workers, Leroy Areola. Say hi. He's busy selling cars. So, if you like the videos that you've seen as well and you like to support me directly, come visit me over at Ed Bozart Chevrolet here in Grand Junction, Colorado. There's my man, also Jonathan Krabby.